Hey guys, Ms. Timpson here, and I am just recording a quick video, just going over weather instruments. We are studying weather this 9 weeks, and we will be studying weather for almost a month. And so the first thing we need to learn about weather is how to measure different variables that meteorologists measure in order to predict upcoming weather events. Okay, so weather instruments help meteorologists know different readings that helps them make predictions. Okay, so let me zoom out here. Okay, so meteorologists use all types of weather instruments to determine different things about weather. They use these tools to predict things and find out information on our climate. So one thing that meteorologists measure is wind. And there's two different types of ways to measure wind. Okay, so wind is the movement of air. We can measure the wind speed. So speed is how fast or slow the wind is moving. Wind speed is measured with an anemometer. Okay, and the anemometer portion is actually these three little cup things at the top. And what happens is the wind gets trapped inside the cup and then pushes this around in a circle. It makes it spin. And then based off of how fast it is spinning, determines the wind speed. So that is an anemometer. The next thing we can measure with wind is wind direction. So direction is the position wind is blowing. The instrument is used to measure the direction is wind. So you'll notice that there's a north, east, south, west. Okay, and the arrow is pointing towards which direction. The arrow is actually all that moves, and then it will move and point towards whichever letter is associated with the direction that the wind is blowing. Okay, so north, east, south, west. The next thing that meteorologists measure is temperature. Temperature is how hot or cold it feels outside. The instrument used to measure temperature is called a thermometer. So, two important things about a thermometer is one, there's different types of thermometers. So, this is just one type, but there's several different ways, several different thermometers, different versions of a thermometer. So, but all thermometers measure the temperature, okay? And you can measure in degrees Fahrenheit or degrees Celsius. Typically, we use degrees Fahrenheit in the United States. Scientists oftentimes rely on degrees Celsius in other countries and whatnot. They might measure in degrees Celsius more often than we do. However, typically, you will hear temperature talked about in degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity is also measured by meteorologists. Humidity is the amount of water vapor in the air. The weather instrument used to measure humidity is called a hygrometer. Hygrometer. Okay, so it's measuring the amount of water vapor in the air. And you can sometimes feel the humidity in the air, the amount of water vapor in the air. Like, for instance, if you go on a run on a super muggy day when it's like almost about to rain, maybe during the summer, and you kind of feel wet after you finish running. It's like your arms feel sticky, your face feels sticky, your legs might feel sticky, and you know it's not like a sweat feeling, but it's almost like you ran through a car wash kind of feeling. Sometimes that water vapor collects on you as you're running. When you go outside and it feels really muggy, it feels really damp outside in the air, that is humidity. And we use a hygrometer to measure that. Next, meteorologists measure air pressure. It's the force that you feel from the air. The instrument used to measure air pressure is called a barometer. Okay, a barometer almost looks like a little clock or like a little compass. However, it is measuring air pressure. And meteorologists use the air pressure to determine what types of weather might be coming. If the pressure's high, it might be predicting different types of weather versus if the pressure is low. And we'll cover that a little bit later. But right now, we just need to know that the barometer it measures air pressure. It's the force that we feel from the air. Water levels. So this is something that is more common at your house. And if you look outside at your mom's or your dad's or your grandma's or grandpa's, typically someone in your family will have a rain gauge. So a rain gauge measures the water level. So the text says, when it precipitates, the levels of water change. The instrument we use to measure water level is a rain gauge. Okay, so the rain just simply falls into the rain gauge and it collects and you measure it. And then if you wanted to know how much is raining the next day, then you would empty the rain gauge and it would kind of start over. If you wanted to know how much it rained for the whole week, then you might not empty that rain gauge until the very end of the week and measure that. So just to review, an anemometer measures wind speed. A wind vane measures wind direction. A thermometer measures temperature. A hygrometer measures humidity. A barometer measures air pressure. And behind this little thing that I'm not able to move right here, it says rain gauge, and that measures the amount of water, amount of precipitation. Okay. And I believe that is it. Okay. Let us know if you have any questions. Okay. Thanks, guys.